But one phone, it's Roger Penske. The other phone is Quentin Tarantino. But the other phone is Fernando Alonso. Whose call do you take first, Myles?
Oh, no. Well, obviously.
Well, think about this. Myles Rowe joining us here in the Lucas Oil Studios, Speed Freaks Pits. And Myles, with this win over last weekend in the USF2000 series, no one knew who the hell you were. A lot of people know who the hell you are right now with this win. What's been the most significant part about this win in your notoriety at this point?
I mean, it's just been really good to deliver for the team. That's all I've been focusing on this whole season. It's just been about, delivering the final part of the picture that we've been painting together. The team's been doing just such a tremendous job, and all I've wanted to do all season is make sure that I just deliver and finish out the picture for them. And that's just the emotion. Everything was just all that, just finally delivering for everybody, because the whole team deserved it. It was what they all needed, what we all needed, what the series and the world needed together.
I think you mentioned once you were signed as the driver for ForceIndy in the USF2000 series, I think you mentioned in an interview that the goal for 2021 would be just progression. Show from the beginning of the season to the end of the season that you guys as a team can make progress. Well, I think that's been checked off the list now that we have a win under your belt. So where do you move the goalpost now for further goals, better goals to finish off 2021?
The goal is just to keep it consistent. We had a lot of issues that were out of our control in the beginning and through the middle of the season with incidents. And this race, we were able to complete this weekend. We were able to complete all the laps, and that's the goal, to finish out the season in Ohio, is just complete all the laps, get all the experience we can, so that we're set up accordingly for the next season ahead of us.
I'm looking at the points for the season, and you may have answered the question already. You had some problems getting up to this point, and the win kind of turned the light on. What happened to get the light turned on, and maybe you can start moving up the standings now?
Well, it was just, focusing in the present, taking on what you had to do in that moment, not focusing on the results, not focusing on what it is you're trying to achieve. You could always, peek your head up and look at the big picture, the big goal. But really what I did this weekend was really, keep my head down and focus on exactly what I needed to do in each moment, from entry to mid-exit of every single corner of every single lap. That's what handed us the win in race 2. And that's what we're going to keep doing for the rest of the season and moving on forward.
It's come to mind that you're interested in filmmaking, and that's kind of the story in making a film. You just worry about getting the shots and moving on to the next thing. You're not worried about the opening on the red carpet and taking the celebration from everybody.
Yeah, you got to pull focus at different times, but really the main focus is just motorsport and racing at the moment. The film, it'll have to wait, especially after this. We're coming at season's end, and what we really need is just full concentration, full work ethic, full discipline, and to just close out the season, effectively.
Now hold on just a second, Myles. You're 21 years old. You're talking like you're 52, and you've got 13 degrees from freaking Harvard. Can you back up? Everything's not about focus and big picture and down the road, bro. Listen, you're standing in front of a brick wall. You're 21 years old. Can you give me something irreverent that a 21-year-old would say? Because, man, I feel awfully small talking to you right about now in my college freaking Bachelor of Fine Arts degree, dude.
Hey, it's just, that's the game we play. Everything, it's all about strategy on and off the track. And, I don't know.
Strategy.
It's just the way I think, Kenny. And, that's what it takes, to win on the track and in life in general off the track. It's just how I think. It's my mind and how I'm wired.
You keep thinking that way for a last lap pass for your first win. You're not thinking about craziness at the club. You're not thinking about running around with some girl somewhere. You're thinking about that last lap pass. You keep thinking that way, Miles.
Of course, of course. Yeah, that's how the one's gonna keep coming. The focus.
Well, I think Kenny's wanting to get a little glimpse into who's the college guy named Myles Rowe, not the race car driver, not the soon to be producer, not the guy behind the lens right now. Who's the college guy, and what does Myles Rowe do for fun? How do you approach your college career? You're in New York City, of all places, and you're now 21. Who is Myles Rowe outside of the cockpit?
Yeah, so I'm in New York City right now. I've been here for about, I'd say, 3 years, I'd say. And I just actually, right after the race, I drove home with my dad and my girlfriend, and immediately we had to pack all my clothes and everything that was in my old apartment. And I just moved in today into my new apartment in Brooklyn. So this is a new brick wall. So the little corny joke you made, Crash, about the brickyard and the brick wall, this is new. So maybe after the win, there's a little symbolism there, I guess you could say. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing very recently. What I do for fun here, I love to, film and mainly do a lot of photos with friends and work on ideas, run around the city and, see what we can get into and see what kind of different emotions we can capture on camera, and present to the people that we love, socially.
Ooh.
And I love to skateboard as well and, getting into things like that. And it's just about, living in the moment. That's kind of how New York City rolls. So whatever we can find, whatever ideas we can come up with, we try to execute as much of them as we can.
I like that, going around New York City and finding emotions to go share with people, whether that be social media or just your tight-knit circle of friends. So yeah, take me to a racetrack. Doesn't have to be anything IndyCar related, just a racetrack somewhere in the world where you think you could capture some incredible emotions from the back of the track to the front of the track, just anything that would make you just tick.
Oh, I mean, obviously the Indianapolis Speedway.
Yes.
That would be a really good track to get a lot of video at. It's just, there's just so much history there. So the emotion just builds every single time. There's a new event there every year. But also off the top of my head, Spa, even though Spa just happened, Spa Francorchamps, it's a huge circuit and there's so many different types of people that go there. And I think, like, from what I've seen on videos, like there's a lot of emotion that happens at Spa, and also it's another very, very historic track. So you can go to any track and do that. I mean, racing is an emotion-filled sport. It's entertainment. People go to like feel, to be happy, to be let down and sad, and be in that moment of emotion. So you can go to any track and do that. And there's different kinds of people at every single track. So you can really go absolutely anywhere from the United States to Europe to Asia, and absolutely anywhere.
Myles Rowe, you mentioned a girlfriend a little while ago. A lot of women don't like motorsports. They don't like the noise.
Hey, wait, whoa, what?
Well, that's not everybody's crash class, So, is she someone that you had to break into the motorsports idea, or was she there and she's not going to take away from your focus on the racetrack?
Yeah, so she never really was too much into motorsport, but she loves experiencing new things, and so when I took her to the track in Nashville for the first time, she loved it because it was just a whole other experience. She described it as a whole other dimension kind of a thing, where it's just different kinds of people, just a whole different environment. You're secluded from kind of everywhere. It's its own little bubble kind of thing for you to experience. All these kinds of things, like the smell of the car and just the speed and the excitement of everyone like at the track. So she loves like going to the track now and seeing new kinds of people and new kinds of tracks, and like also being in new locations as well. It's a whole journey, every single track you go to. So she's really liking it, and the focus. She gives me my time, and she helps me focus so much. I mean, right when I'm like, gotta go, she's like, all right, bye. And like, it's just like, oh, where'd she go? And I can't find her anymore, even if I need her. I mean, I asked her, like, are you hungry, like 5 times? And she's like, no, it's fine. So she gives me a lot of great focus. And, that was actually the first race that she's been to, that I've run at. So it's kind of funny how much how focused I really was when she was there for the first time, yeah, she's really good with it.
Is
Hey,
there
Myles.
room for non-motorsports people in your world, or do they take away from your focus, which you keep saying is your number one goal right now?
Oh no, there's room for everybody in quote unquote my world. I mean, it's just about being disciplined and learning when it's time to focus on motorsport, when it's the time to focus on art, when it's the time to focus on friends, when it's the time to focus on yourself. And it's just about having, knowing yourself and being conscious and aware of what you need at certain times, and then just executing.
Myles, what is your major again? What's the title? It's a film major with some other ancillary words. What is it?
Yeah, so the actual title of the major is Film and Screen Studies at Pace University.
Okay. Bro, you got too much headroom.
Oh.
Put your eye behind the lens of the camera. You have too much headroom, man. Listen.
I guess that means so do I. Hold on, I'm going to switch.
No, you're fine.
Okay, so now I'm.
All right, because listen, if you're directing a film, there you go. You took some. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. See there?
Oh my God!
What? Come on.
Are you saying that you're better than his professors in college right now?
I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that I'm 30 plus years older than Myles, and maybe I got a little. I don't have any time behind the lens. This guy's got more time behind the camera than I ever had. Hey, and Myles, we also know that you're from Georgia, and you end up in the Northeast, running in the open wheel series. Can I be honest with you? That's like someone being born and raised in Dallas and being a freaking Eagles fan. How in the hell did that happen, man? You didn't go NASCARing, you went open wheeling. How'd that happen?
Yeah. I mean, it's just, when I first, discovered the world of motorsport, I was 4 years old, and I was watching TV. I was watching golf with my dad on TV, and, he changes commercials every time. I mean, he changes the channel every time commercials comes on. And when he was flipping through the channels, Formula One came on. So actually, when I was down in Georgia wanting to be a golf player, my dad flipped through the channels, and the first thing I saw was open wheel. So I guess it just kind of was meant to be. It just caught my eye first, and honestly, like, I've always been like a person who really likes to be free and be in their own environment and be able to do what they want. And so the way that the drivers, or the way that I saw the drivers handling those Formula One cars when I was younger, especially when I started to do research on it and discover IndyCar, and then kind of like obviously knew about NASCAR and things like that. It's just, they just seemed way more in control and just able to do what they want in the car because, they're a little lighter, they have the wings, they could turn more on command, whereas NASCAR and sports car, the cars, they're a lot heavier, and you have to like caress them a lot more, and if you turn, it'll turn on command, but it's not the same as an open wheel car kind of a thing. And it just ended up being something that I thought I would like more.
So Formula One, IndyCar, you were doing your research. You knew that was the path that you wanted to go down. Who became your heroes? Who were you really wanting to look at on TV, wanting to watch win and be in victory lane? And then also, who did you want to emulate off the track?
Yeah, so at first, my favorite driver was Fernando Alonso. I remember him in his Renault back, I think it was 2005, maybe something like that. And I loved the way he drove, how aggressive he was, and everything like that. I also really love when I really started doing research and learning about past drivers in the sport. Aryton Senna, he became my inspiration, my motivation. Who I really like looked at as a rep, like someone who just was an all-time great. I mean, he was my all-time great, and I looked at so many of his onboards and so many of his videos, so many of his motivational videos that people have edited for him. And he's just the driver that he's been the one that has been kind of helping me figure out who I want to be, how I want to drive, and what is it I'm really here for to drive for.
How about that? That's a 21-year-old.
Yeah.
Freak Nation.
Talking about Senna and his motivational videos. Wow.
Well, the great feature film that they did, the documentary on Senna. I don't know. I'm sure you've seen that. If you did any research on him, that's a good thing to do research on also for your film classes, because that director of that made some spectacular choices and minimized, if not did away with narration, and the film just told itself. I'm sure that's something that you can learn from if you haven't seen it already.
It's so cohesive, and I mean, telling a documentary, especially a documentary about something way in the past, about something, or about someone who isn't even there to kind of help you create it. I mean, it takes a lot of skill and a lot of thinking and figuring out how to convey it to other people, accordingly, so that they can understand it and so that they can feel like that person's still alive and with them telling the story. And that film, like the way they cut, the way they edited and put together those narrated pieces and the shots, it's a beautiful film the way they did it. Actually, that's a good idea. I might have to do a thesis on that, something like that.
Before you get away, I teach sometimes. People think I know things. It's amazing. But there's two things I want you to think about. And there's no right answer to this, but it'll tell you something about yourself. When you walk past an open door, do you look in? And secondly, when you hear a siren going down the street, do you look to see where it's going? Those two things will tell you about the innate curiosity that you have, enough to be a storyteller. So, and that's part of what you're doing, maybe even on the racetrack. You're working out a story to get you to the front of the line. That's something that you may not learn in one of your classes, but that'll tell you something about yourself, just how curious you are as an individual.
Yeah, for sure. That's a great way to put it. You can say it kind of like being open-minded and just being, inspective. Maybe that's not the right word, but yeah, just always searching for an answer, always searching the truth, you could say. That'll take you a long way in life, at least I believe.
Here's a better one for you. You're in a room all by yourself.
Oh, no.
There's
Here
three
we
phones.
go.
There's 3 phones, and all 3 of them are ringing at once. We know the history with you and Roger Penske, and we've already talked to you about that. But one phone, it's Roger Penske. The other phone is Quentin Tarantino. But the other phone is Fernando Alonso. Whose call do you take first, Myles?
Oh, no. Well, obviously, I'm picking up Roger Penske's call first. And then I'm talking to him for maybe 2 seconds. And then I might have to put him on hold. And then I'd say I'd pick up Fernando's call for 2 seconds. I'd tell him I have to call him back, hang up, pick up Quentin's phone call, talk to him for a minute, pitch him the idea, and then put him on hold, and then take care of my business with Mr. Penske, and then call back Fernando, and then go back to Quentin. Is that good? Does that work?
Wow.
He
is wise beyond his years.
Right?
You're putting the money on hold after 2 seconds. I mean, you got to rethink that one. You got to rethink that one.
But what if?
Right. And what if Roger Penske is funding this film deal that he will eventually be doing with Tarantino? That means, Roger needs the priority on the call list right there.
Yeah, that's why
you put about 5 minutes.
That's why you put the producer. That's why you put the money and the producer at the top of the credits. They're the ones that make it happen.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Better yet, let's say you're doing a film for Quentin Tarantino, and you've got to place Fernando Alonso in your film and Roger Penske in your film. That sounds like The Godfather Part 4 to me. Fernando could be the killer, and Penske could be, the legit godfather of your movie.
Oh man, I see it now. They're at the pagoda in Indianapolis. They're on the roof, and they're smoking cigars.
What I got to put up with, Myles? I've 21 years. I had to put up with this.
They're smoking cigars, and you see the pan and with the smoke coming off and all that. Yeah, I like that, Crash. I like that. That's a good little scene. I might have to take that from you. That's not copyrighted or anything, right?
Nah.
Okay.
Just give me, Just give me a little credit at the very end of the movie.
Okay.
No, but we're crossing our fingers that Will Power's brother Damien, who is a freaking hysterical stand-up comic and very creative, we're crossing our fingers that he might have something in the works for IndyCar, for some funniness on TV in the next couple of years. But why couldn't we, and I know timing is of the essence and this is easier said than done, but why couldn't we get cameras to Force Indy with you in charge? I know, come on, balance your filming and racing in 1 year to start another TV show, a documentary series of Force Indy on their way through the road to Indy. Has that been considered by you and your team owner Rod or anybody else yet?
I mean, it can for sure be up for debate. Here I am thinking too deeply into things again, like you said. But it goes. There's positives and negatives. Like there's awareness, inspiration and motivation, and just bringing the emotion that we talked about to the people and for the people. But then you could also talk about how it could interrupt focus for the team and things like that, and maybe get in the way of certain things because we are new, we are starting out, and we need our focus, and we need every variable to be under control because this season there's been so many variables out of our control that we can't control when all of our variables are in control. So it could be up for debate sort of a thing, but you have to weigh the positives and negatives like everything.
If the high price of fuel is keeping you up at night, then reach for Lucas Fuel Treatment, a safe, over-the-counter remedy lubricating the entire fuel system. Just pour directly in your tank, and it instantly goes to work cleaning and lubricating the entire fuel system. Sleep better and longer with Lucas Fuel Treatment.
What is in store for Myles Rowe? I know that you talked about, at least on a radio show, about moving again into the film business, but it's significant what you did, and it's not lost on a lot of people. Now, are there discussions moving into Indy Lights or another form of open wheel for 2022?
The plan is to stick with USF2000. I've been out of the car for 4 years before this season, so I think the goal really is to just give me adequate seat time before we try to do any crazy jumps or anything like that. That's a responsible, appropriate decision for us as a whole, because it's just a matter of experience. I mean, even for the team, getting another year under their belt where they can just really feel comfortable in the positions that they are in, so that when they move up, they just feel ready to go, sort of a thing. I think that's the appropriate decision for the team as a whole for the longevity of Force Indy to, last for decades and decades to come.
Don't you love how Kenny is just typical American social personality in that, come on, knee-jerk reaction, let's go, we don't have time to wait. Kenny, baby steps. The way to get success is baby steps, baby.
Baby steps. We need longevity.
Look at him. What?
Statman just said, if there's a door, do you walk through it or walk by it? Damn it. A door of opportunity, you don't go, let me analyze this door. That's a normal door.
Come on.
You walk through that damn thing, man.
Are you ready to walk through it, though?
Right.
Well, it depends on what, if you can if you can kind of peek and see the door, you can see, it might be a little dark or a little foggy in there, you got to trust your instincts kind of thing, Ken. That's what I say. I say trust your instincts, too. If your instincts are telling you don't go through that door, I say listen to your instincts and don't go through that door.
Exactly. Every open door isn't an opportunity. You could get in that door, especially, and this is all seriousness. They want to have diversity at the top of motorsports. They want to have another African American driver in the Indy 500. And if you get there too soon and don't do well, they're going to not deal with you for a while. It'll be another 20 years before someone gets there. So take your time, get there, win another race, win on purpose, and, compete for a championship, get some of that money that they give to the champion, and climb the ladder.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I fully agree. That's definitely the way to go and the way to keep Indy running for decades. We're trying to be here for decades, not for years.
Boom. I like that.
With what you just said, is that the goal for ForceIndy, to move up into the big boy series with IndyCar and to become a player with a team, a 2-team, 3, 4 cars?
That's the end goal. The end goal is to go big and bigger and better. And it just depends on each year and how we perform and the support that we get and how we feel, how our instincts, what our instincts are telling us. And if our instincts are telling us one year that it's time to move up, get bigger and stronger, then we'll move up. But if they're telling us that it's time to, stay where we are and get stronger and progress and evolve ourselves as a whole, then we'll do that. And then we'll focus on that and see. And when the next year comes, we'll see, if we'll move forward the next time.
So basically, here's a guy talking about trust your instincts, progression, patience in failing forward, learning from your mistakes to be better at the next step. And he was born 1 week before this show, Speed Freaks, started. He's 21 years old. We're 21 years old. Clearly, Myles is much more mature than we are. Because we don't have any patience.
Well, at least you're more mature when we started this show. I could say that.
Yes. It's so impressive to hear you talk. And because, I don't have the patience. I'm double your age and I don't have the patience that you have. It's incredible. This is going to be a really fun story to watch.
Thank you. Yeah, we're pushing and we're striving. We're here to inspire and we're here to motivate and entertain and bring you emotion and passion.
Hey, before we get out of here, Stat, I'm walking through an open door. I'm looking in that damn thing, okay? But I'm in the car and walking down the street and an ambulance goes by. I don't want to be a rubbernecker, but what is going on? Who's in the back of that? What does that make me? Does that make me a bystander or a filmmaker or
if you're curious,
a luthier? What does it make me?
If you're curious enough to look in that door or look where the siren's going to see if there's something worth knowing, then that makes you at least the beginnings of a storyteller. You're curious and you care.
Mm-hmm.
If all you do is cover your ears and say, I hate that noise, or why don't they close that door? You need to think about it, Count.
Okay, well, what if I'm on the road and there's a crash and we cuss at rubberneckers all the time? What am I supposed to look at the crash in the ambulance or just keep going?
You got to look and see what's going on. I mean, if you're not curious enough to see what's delayed you in the car for an hour, you either got to get a ticket to LAX to go somewhere else.
Oh my gosh, what is going on here?
Yeah, you got if you're not curious enough to find out what's affecting your life, then you don't need to be in storytelling business.
You see there, Myles? We get psychoanalyzed by each other here in the Freak Nation over the last 21 years.
You guys are hilarious. Oh my God.
Rod's going to watch this interview and go, don't ever return their calls again. Ever.
He's going to be mad because we didn't ask to talk to him. That's what he's
right. Surprise!
Yes.
He's gonna love this. He's gonna love this. This is funny.
Well, I almost called you Rod. Well, Myles, thanks for doing this, buddy. I'm sure this isn't the last time you'll be in the Freak Nation. Hopefully much sooner than later, buddy. We enjoyed your company and your openness and, frankly, your insight to being a 21-year-old in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me on. I mean, you guys are a great bunch of people, and for sure, it was a pleasure, and hopefully we can talk again very soon. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hey, what's the mascot at Pace University?
If you ask that to 80% of the students, they would tell you the same thing I'm about to tell you. I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. We have sports teams, we have athletes, but I can't even tell you that I've seen one athlete at my school. It's like we have another campus. It's in Pleasantville, New York. You can ask one of them and they'll probably know. But I don't even know one game that we won or played as Pace. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to the dean and whoever.
It doesn't matter because I know a win, and that was you this past weekend. You're representing Pace when you're behind the wheel of that car. So, yeah, winner from Pace University. There you go.
The mascot for Pace University, and again, thank you, Internet, it just happened, is a setter. The Pace University Setters.
I cannot tell you anybody has told me that.
What's a setter?
Close the door.
Right? That is not an ambulance. That is not an ambulance. Shut the damn door.
The Pace Setters.
Oh, there it is, the Pace Setters.
Yes.
Here we go.
You can't write this stuff, man.
And that's so perfect for Myles. He was the Pace setter.
Oh, that's amazing. Yes! That's amazing. Got it.
You can't write this stuff, can you?
Bam!
That's so funny. Thank you back, Kenny, because I need to know that. I'm a senior and I don't even know my mascot.
Yeah, well, that's going to be the bonus question at your series end of year exam. What is our freaking mascot at Pace University? Bam!
Yeah.
All right, Myles. We hope to see you down the road, buddy.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. I'll talk to you guys soon, hopefully.